So as you all know, Outcome Memories released with 7 playable survivors. Each one of these survivors have their own gimmicks and play styles that make them different from each other. But there's also many survivors that have yet to be released yet. In this video, we're going to go through all 21 survivors planned for Outcome Memories and the 3 exclusive survivors that are currently inside of the game. But before we start, I want to say make sure to like and subscribe, and let's begin. Starting off first, we have Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic is one of the easier characters to play inside of the game for actually having more than 100 HP and 2 very good moves. His first move is called Drop Dash. If he hits it successfully 3 times in a row, he gains 30 dodge HP and stuns the killer for around 6 seconds. The dodge HP mechanic allows him to have over 100 HP and he can regain it. Then his second ability is Peel Out. With a 3-second charge up, he's able to run super fast for 7 seconds and able to pick up 1 survivor if they come in contact with him. The only 2 survivors he can't pick up are Metal Sonic and Eggman. For this, he's a very good character to help out your teammates, but also he can survive for a long time on his own. And so far, the devs have not stated anything about switching his kit. Next up is Tails. Tails in this game is the only long-range stunner. He also has the longest cooldown in the game. This cooldown is 45 seconds for his arm cannon. After that is up, he has to wait 5 seconds to charge it up, then an additional 1.5 seconds before he shoots a laser cannon, able to stun the killer for 9 seconds. This makes him really good to help your teammates if you're getting chased, but he's pretty bad at close quarters. He also has a glide ability which allows him to fly around the map. And in version 0.2, he will be getting updates to the glide ability where he's actually able to pick up survivors. I'm assuming the only character he can't pick up would probably be Metal Sonic because he weighs like a kajillion tons. And as long as you play him right, he works surprisingly well in helping out your team. Also during Last Man Standing, his cooldown from 45 seconds goes to 15 and he is really broken during then. Next up, we have Knuckles the Echidna. Knuckles is a close range stunner that has a punch attack and a counter. The counter is one of the only abilities in the game that can actually stop the grab attack from 2011X. And how his punch works is if you keep your punch up, you slowly start charging, able to go to free forms. If you just use the ability, it stuns the killer for 4 seconds. If you let it charge for a little bit, it stuns the killer for 5 seconds. And if your arms start glowing and you punch the killer, it stuns them for 6 seconds and apply burning, which slows. He also has a glide ability, where you're able to grab onto a wall and jump off of it flying, kind of like Tails. But it only lasts like 3 seconds before you plummet to the ground. Also, during Last Man Standing, he doesn't actually get a buff. The only thing he gets is the normal 25% damage reduction. But other than that, he's just such a good character as is, they didn't really feel like adding one for him. He is definitely a fun character to use, but a lot of times his hitboxes are pretty wonky, so you do have to be worried of some of that. Also, for his counter, if you use it and the EXE doesn't hit you, you have about 1 second afterwards where you can't do anything, and you'll most likely get hit. But with that, we're on to number 4. Fourth character is Amy Rose. If you ever played TD, you know inside of this game, she works kind of the same, but also nothing the same. She has her standard hammer throw, which once you click the ability, you're able to chuck the hammer in the direction you're aiming, and if it hits a killer, it stuns them. She also has a hammer attack where if you run into the killer with your hammer, you hit them, so there's no actual manual input. Now, something that is cool is if you throw your hammer, it does return to you around 10 seconds later. This means that you don't have to walk up to it and go grab it. This allows you to keep running from the killer, and then once you get your hammer back, you can basically just attack the killer again, because of how short her cooldowns are. She also has an ability called Terror Cards. Every 25 seconds, you can re-roll 2 Terror Cards. Each one have their own buffs or debuffs that help you. Some of them give you longer stuns but slower speed, some of them just heal you, and some of them give you speed. She is a very fun character, but very RNG because of that. Sometimes you get 2 cards that completely help you out, or other times you spin the entire match and get absolutely nothing. Pure RNG. Also, with her hammer attack, if you use it in the air, you actually bounce off the ground, giving you some mobility, and if you hit the killer with it, it will stun them, knocking them away. This is a 2-1 for mobility and stunning. Then the next character is Cream the Rabbit. Cream inside of this game is a complete support character with no stunning capability. She has a character known as Cheese that flies beside her, and once she has Cheese with her, she's able to heal up teammates for 70 HP over 7 seconds. This makes her very vital because you're able to fully heal up most people. But if you go below 30 HP with her, you do actually lose Cheese, and that 70 HP turns to 35 HP. And her second ability is a dash where if you hit the killer or your teammates, you take 2 damage but significantly increases your speed. And it also works as a way to dodge, but you still can get hit. Now, during Last Man Standing, she actually changes up a lot. During Last Man Standing, she gains free dodges, kind of like Sonic, but it takes free. She also has a significantly reduced cooldown on her dash, so instead of 15 seconds, it's only 7 seconds. And her heal is instant, so there's no animation played, and he heals you for around 7 to 8 or 3 to 4, depending on if you have cheese or not. It's always recommended that you stay near one of your teammates because she is very good but can easily get hit by EXEs. She also has a glide ability, kind of like Knuckles, but it does not end until you hit the ground. This means once you use it, you get slowed around to only 20% of your normal speed, but you're able to fly away from the killer. And as long as there's range for you to do it, you can keep flying until you hit the ground. But up next, we have Eggman. Eggman in this game is a complete survivalist character. This means that his abilities only help out him and Metal Sonic. His first ability, which basically jetpack boost, gives him a really fast speed buff that allows him to run away from a killer for 3 seconds. If you get hit while you're using it, since you don't get iframes, you start going really fast. He also has a shield ability, where for around 6 seconds, once you click the ability, you cannot get hit by the EXE. If the EXE does hit you, then they get stunned for around a second and you can get away. He also has 2 passives. The first passive allows Metal Sonic to heal around 2 times faster, and the second passive for himself allows him to double jump. With his double jump, it takes around 10 seconds per each time, but you're able to gain a lot of distance since you're able to jump up to areas the normal EXE cannot. But one thing to note is if you use your shield ability, you cannot use your run ability. And if you miss your shield ability, meaning that the EXE does not hit you, then you can't use your jetpack ability for 4 seconds afterwards. It kind of punishes you for not using it. He's also one of the only characters inside the game to have a whole bunch of voice lines. All the other characters are either mute or only have 1 sentence. Now, up next for the 7th character that's currently playable is Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic starts off with 175 HP and a 50% damage reduction. This damage reduction only lasts until he hits 100 HP, but if he uses his ability, known as self-repair, he's able to heal himself back to 150 HP at max. His second ability is known as Destructive Charge. When you use this, you stand still for a second before charging towards the direction you're looking in, and if you grab the killer, you do around 40 damage to yourself, but stun them for a few seconds. As stated previously, if you're standing near Tails or Eggman with your self-repair, you do actually start repairing yourself faster, and they both stack. Also, during Last Man Standing, his Destructive Charge damage only does around 10 to him, and he also takes 75% less damage. He is a pretty cool character, but if it's only you against the EXE, then there's a high chance that you might die since his abilities require you to be far enough away from him, but there's many times where you just keep getting pressured by the EXE, so you can't use them. But now, we're on to characters that have not been released yet, and will be coming in later updates. First character we'll be talking about is Silver. Silver will be a support and staller. His first ability allows him to do Psych Beam, which grabs the killer. Then afterwards, if they click a button, you're allowed to chuck the killer away, which launches them pretty far. This means on a map like Not Perfect, you could just chuck them to the oblivion and they respawn on the other side of the map. And his second ability is kind of unknown at the time, but from what we can see, it most likely he throws terrain or something, stunning the killer. These 2 abilities are pretty cool, since it utilizes in lore that he does have psychic abilities. It is unknown at this time if he'll have a glide or a fly ability, but I'm assuming he might. Also, kind of like Sonic with his dodge, Silver has Psych Energy below his HP bar. It is unsure how it's used at this time, but it's assuming you can only use so many abilities before it gets run out. And then you probably have to wait for it to replenish before you can use abilities. And once he's killed by 2011X, this is his death line.
The future savior doomed in another world's past.
Overall, he seems like a pretty cool character, and I can't wait to play him next update. Now, the next character up is Blaze. Blaze will be a mobility/stunner. As of now, we know how one of her abilities work and a presumed second ability, and we are unsure of any passives. Her first ability is known as Roundhouse Kick. Once she uses this ability, she kicks in the direction she's facing, and if she hits the EXE, she's able to stun, burn, and knock them away, basically hitting them with every single status effect known inside of the game. But if you use it in the air, you can actually use it as a way to bounce up, kind of like Amy's bounce ability with her hammer. Then the second ability is known as Flamethrower. As of now, we do not know what this looks like, but assuming it's probably like Eggman inside of Dimensional Coalescence. And when she dies to 2011X, this is the voice line.
The flames of the Soul Empire, extinguished through conquest.
Also, she will have some lore of Alucard, but right now it is unsure what that will be. And with that, those are the 2 characters coming out in version 0.2 as we know of at the time. Now, guaranteed to be in version 0.3, we have Fang the Hunter. Right now, he has no abilities shown for him since he's still pretty far away from coming out. But since his nickname is either Fang the Hunter or Fang the Sniper, it's assuming he'll probably have a gun and long range abilities. This means he'll probably shoot the EXE and stunning him or set up traps, kind of like a Trappist. And assuming that these are his abilities, it's most likely that he won't have any passives, and he'll probably have the standard 100 HP and average movement speed. Also, this is a voice line that occurs when Fang dies to 2011X.
Did you get him, marksman?
But other than that, we have nothing else to say about him. The next person we're going to do is actually two, Ray and Mighty. Reason why we're pairing these two together is they're guaranteed to come out in the same update as long as EYX. The reason why is because in their lore, they're connected. Right now, we know nothing about their abilities or passives, but it's assumed that Mighty, since he is an armadillo, will probably have increased HP, but also one of the only survivors inside of the game will actually have a below average speed. He has also been described to be the strongest survivor in the game, so either means he'll probably have a lot of reduced damage and high HP, or he can stun a lot. And this is what happens when he's killed by 2011X.
Armored and everything, just to crumble to dust.
Then for Ray, like I said, there's not much known about him, but since he is a flying squirrel, it's assumed that he will have a flying ability, and he'll most likely be a support character. How he'll support, we have no idea, but he will definitely have a flying ability, and this is what happens when he dies to 2011X.
Glide your soul to the skies for a more interesting catch, rodent.
And assuming that these two will come out of EYX, the earliest that they can come out is either version 0.4 or later. But with those two out of the way, we're on to the next people. Coming up next is Shadow, and we do actually have some abilities for him. Even though we don't know when he's going to be coming out, we do know one of his abilities, which is called Chaos Snap. Once you use the ability, you shoot 5 bullets at the killer really fast and then Chaos Snap before kicking the killer from behind. This will lead to being them knocked back and stunning them. It's also been confirmed that he does have lore of 2017X, so it's assumed that they'll both be added in the same update. But because we only know one of his abilities right now, it's assumed that he will just be a stunner. And he'll probably also have a Chaos Spear ability. And this is what happens when Shadow dies to 2011X.
There's only one ultimate life form. That would be me!
But other than that, that is everything we know for Shadow the Hedgehog. Next up, we have Rouge the Bat. For Rouge the Bat, we have literally nothing to go off of. The only things I can say about her is that she debuted in Sonic Adventure 2. Here is the voice line for when Rouge dies to 2011X.
Needed a hands-on demonstration that I'm a god, agent.
And because of this, we can assume that she'll probably be added in a way later version. And speaking of characters we know nothing about, let's finish off the Dark Trio with Omega. Omega will be the second robot survivor added. And for his abilities, guess what? We have nothing. But assume for his size, he will actually be a pretty big survivor. This meaning that he'll probably have average running speed or below average actually. Also, since Omega is so big, I'm assuming that he'll have an insane amount of HP. Probably not as high as Neo, but around 300 would make sense because he's probably going to be slower. Also, since one of his hands is a gun, we can assume he'll probably have a Gatling gun ability. And this is what it sounds like when he dies to 2011X.
Reprogrammed to be a heroic entity. Made you useless.
But other than that, that is everything we have on Omega. Next character up is Infinite. Continuing the trend, Infinite does not have any info on him. But since he does have a sword, it's assumed that he'll probably be a melee stunner. And this is what it sounds like when he dies to 2011X.
Yes. Yes, you are weak, Jackal.
And on to the next person. Now, the next person up is Honey the Cat. This was actually one of the characters I never knew actually existed in the Sonic franchise. But other than that, all we know of her right now is the voice line for 2011X, which is pretty brutal, and I'll play it.
Declawed, gutted, and left to spoil like your name. Only, it was never sweet.
But assuming your character, she might be a support, but it's really just speculation. Now, finally, for this part, we actually have 4 survivors going here, being Sally, Charmy, Vector, and Espio. The reason why all 4 of them are put here is they're most likely going to be the last survivors added. They don't even have voice lines for 2011X or even a model yet. It will be completely unknown of how they look or how they play at this time. This is why we grouped them all together, since basically, what else would we say? We do not want 2-second sections. But now, we're on to the free private server exclusive characters. Starting off is Sans the Skeleton. Sans the Skeleton has 400 dodge HP and 0 normal HP. This means in a regular match, if it's just a 1v1 versus a killer, you're pretty screwed because even doing 400 damage in a match of 2 is very difficult against him. But unlike Sonic, you can't actually charge the dodge meter. He also has 2 abilities known as Bone and Blaster. For these 2 abilities, you don't actually have to aim them, but you just have to be close enough to use them against the killer. When you equip Bone, 4 bones will fly around the killer before attacking them. If they don't jump or fall, it'll hit them and then a second bone comes out of nowhere and smacks them away. Then the second ability is Blasters. He spawns a whole bunch of blasters overhead of a killer, stunning them and knocking them away. Because of his high HP, he kinda just run for it. Now, for the next character that is exclusive is Neo Metal Sonic. As stated by devs, he won't just be a private server exclusive soon for the upcoming Juggernaut game mode, but as of now, he is here. And the reason why he was added was for 100k players. And believe me, he is completely broken, having over 750 HP. He also takes a 50% reduced damage, and he has a punch ability which can perma-stun the EXE. This is literally the equivalent of what if Metal Sonic actually locked in. He also has a destructive charge where he goes really fast, and once you use it, if you grab the killer, you basically just teleport, that's how fast you are, and slam him into the closest wall. So if you're playing on a map like Not Perfect, you fly to the skybox basically. And he is also naturally faster than the killer, so you can just outrun them. He is absolutely hilarious, and believe me, you have to try him out in private servers. And the third and final private server exclusive character is Baldi. Baldi has 100 HP and 150 dodge, but once he gets hit, he gets progressively madder and gets a permanent speed buff. And kind of like Sans' attack with the bones, he has the ability called Ruler, where homes of rulers fly around the EXE before attacking him. Then, his next ability is called Place Notebooks. When you do this, if a killer hits a notebook you placed, it's kind of like the original Baldi game, where you have to answer 3 math questions. His third ability is called Wow, and every time you use it, it just says wow with an echo effect. Believe me, peak ability. Then his final ability is called Baldi Dance, where on use, Baldi starts dancing. Honestly, peak character, best out of best, 10 out of 10 character design. But with that, that is all 24 characters that are currently being added or in the game right now. If you just skipped to the end of the video, wonder why some sections are so short, honestly, they did not give out much information on many characters. But anyways, I hope you all liked and enjoyed. I'll see you all next time, and goodbye.